Okay, so your standard weekly let's see who's going to win kind of things. And there's a stinker on both Thursday and Monday. So you can kind of skip both. Tomorrow night's game, Broncos at 2-4 and against the Cardinals at 1-5. I've added some statistical stuff on here. In black, offensive passing. In green, offensive rushing. In blue, defensive passing. In red, defensive rushing. I'm just going with yards per game. I'm not going with scoring. I'll look at something different every week, okay, from here on. And if you can't read what's on the board, it's okay. I'll read it to you. So the Broncos are 2-4. They're in against the Cardinals. I didn't look at the odds this week because I'm not really curious about the odds too much. The Broncos being 2-4, I'll put them ahead of the Cardinals because, they're the Cardinals. Is it weird that there's an Arizona team in hockey that can't score and there's an Arizona team in football that can't score? Good thing about the Diamondbacks, I guess. Diamondbacks are obviously out, but, they're better than the Cardinals or the Coyotes. Anyways, yeah, I figure Thursday that stinkfest is going to be won by the Broncos. The Titans are allowing 214.7 yards per game passing. That's good. They're up against the Chargers, who have 137.3 yards per game rushing. So it's a high rushing offense against a team that doesn't allow a lot of passing yards. So the Chargers are going to rely on the rush. They're 4-2. The Titans are 3-3. You know what though? I'll say Phillip Rivers breaks through that defense a little bit. I'll go with the Chargers. Yes, the Chargers tend to break my heart, the same as the Bengals do. But you know what? I'll go with that. And if you notice, I've got my new Rams hat on. I just don't have a Rams jersey, so I went with Freddie because it's October and I've talked about Halloween. So there you go. And this shirt I got from Spencer's yesterday as well. So it's buy one get one for half off, and every fourth T-shirt you buy at Spencer's you get one for free. So we go in, we buy two at a time usually. Yesterday it just so happened two of them were the ones I wanted, and the next time we buy two, the third one's gonna be free. So there you go, free ad for them. So yeah, I'll take the Chargers in that one. The Panthers. The Panthers are averaging 139 yards rushing on the ground per game. They're 2-3. They're in against the Eagles, who are only allowing 79.8 yards per game rushing. A good defense will usually beat a good offense. The Panthers are kind of coughing at 2-3. I'll say that the Eagles add to that misery, and the Eagles go to 4-3, and the Panthers drop to 2-4. So I'm going a bit against what I thought at the start of the year, where I thought, hey, the Panthers should be really good. Nope. I'll take the Eagles at home. The Eagles are 3-3. They've got to get to 4-3. Defending Super Bowl champions ending up below 500 or ending up missing the playoffs. It happens, but I'm not a person that usually bets on it. The Vikings. They're 3-2-1. They're averaging 303.8 yards passing per game. Pretty solid quarterback. They're in against the Jets, who are 3-3, so the Jets have salvaged their season somewhat. The Jets don't have any categories are in the top six. Basically, had to be top six of the teams that are playing this week to get a mention on the board. But that being said, I'll say the Jets come up with enough, and the Jets win. I'm with three home teams on Sunday. I'm going with boring, and I apologize for that. The Bills, they're 2-4. They're allowing 219.2 yards per game passing. That's pretty solid for a team that's 2-4. The Colts are 1-5, and they are unremarkable on both offense and defense. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Bills on this one because it's a matchup of misery, and I'll say that the Colts' misery ends up winning over the Bills, meaning the Bills win the game. The misery at the end of the game is still belonging to the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm not sure what the answer is for the Colts other than off season and fix it. So yeah, the Bills I think will end up 3-4 as long as nobody else retires at halftime. The Patriots, they're 4-2. It's remarkable that they didn't end up top six in any of the categories I looked at. That is remarkable. They're in against the Bears, who are allowing 83.4 yards per game rushing, which is great against the Patriots team, except the Patriots kind of beat you in every way. Belichick won't even high-five little kids. That's been a highlight I've seen a lot, where he won't even high-five little kids in Detroit going on the field. At least he didn't hit the children. That's the thing. I look on the bright side. At least Belichick didn't turn around and hit the kids or yell at their parents to get them away from him. But anyways, the non-high-fiving Belichick, he manages to usually get the most out of the Patriots. But this is tough because the Bears are always good defensively, and I do think the Patriots are in danger of coming back to earth at least a little bit this year. Hey, 10-6 is great for everybody, but for the Patriots, it's a bit of a step back. That being said, this is a tough call. I'm going to take the Bears, and I'm going to regret it. I'm going to regret that pick completely. The Browns, they're 2-3-1. They've broken my heart 2 weeks in a row now. I really thought they were going to get it going. Their rushing is 137.7 yards per game, so that's pretty good. They're in against the Bucs, who are 2-3. Their passing is 368.4 yards per game. They're only allowing 84.2 yards per game rushing. So they have a great rushing defense against a great rushing team. Something has to give. Usually the defense will be stronger than the offense. This is the NFL, which stands for not for long when you play like, I know. I'm trying to think of the name of the coach that said that. He said, he's yelling at a ref. This stands for not for long. NFL stands for not for long when you're making calls like that. Greatest quote I ever heard during a game. And somebody watching this is going to know who said it. I know it was the Falcons coach, and the name escapes me. Which is great because this doesn't involve the Falcons at all. But yeah, so the Buccaneers against the Browns. I'll go ahead and say that with the passing they've got and the defense they've got, and the fact that the Browns are snake bit, I'll take the Bucs in this one to go back to 500 at 3-3, and the Browns scratching their heads at 2-4-1. The Texans 3-3. They're kind of my team. They're in against the Jaguars. The Texans are in top 6 in any category. The Jaguars, their defensive passing, they're only allowing 187.8 yards per game. That being said, I will take the Texans. I would like to see the Houston Texans get somewhere. I think they have the ability to do it. I kind of believe in the Texans, and I know I'm going to regret that too. Sort of like that Bears pick that's still bugging me. But, these things happen. The Lions are 2-3. They're allowing 222 yards passing per game. They're in against the Dolphins, who are 4-2, and they don't have a top category pick really per se. This is a tough one because I know the Dolphins are over. They're over. How do I put this? They're overachieving. That's the term I'm looking for. They're overachieving so far. So I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna take the Lions to go back to 500 over the Dolphins, and I'll probably regret that one Monday as well. The Saints are 4-1. They're putting up 320.8 yards per game passing. They're only allowing 71.4 yards per game rushing. They're in against the Ravens, who are 4-2. They're only allowing 188 yards per game through the air. They're only allowing 82.8 yards per game on the ground. This is one of those games where it is the immovable force, or the irresistible force and the immovable object, and I have a hard time betting against the Ravens at home. I do. I have a hard time betting against the Ravens at home. So for me, and just barely, I will take the Ravens over the Saints. Because you look at those defensive numbers, those are Baltimore numbers. Baltimore has always been known for their defense. This year's no different. The Saints, excellent attack. They're doing very well. Their rushing yard totals are low too. I don't think either team is going to have a rusher over 100 yards. And I understand that offensively it's hard to go against Drew Brees, but I'm going to go with the Ravens for Raven reasons, I guess. The Cowboys, they're 3-3. They're rushing for 147.5 yards per game. They're only allowing 224.5 yards per game through the air. They're in against Washington, who are only allowing 90.2 yards per game on the ground, and they're 3-2. Now, since Washington's 3-2 and the Cowboys are 3-3, I'll take the Cowboys in that one because I like the rushing yards here. I understand I just said, well, the Ravens are only allowing 82. Redskins are only allowing 90. But you know what? It's the Cowboys. And I will take the Cowboys just barely over the Redskins. It's going to be close. The Rams passing yards 310 per game. Rushing yards 154 per game. They're in against the Niners, who are also rushing for 142.5 yards per game. 6-0 LA, 1-5 San Francisco, and the Rams just look absolutely unstoppable. This is a team with an offense that is truly intimidating. And it's strange because I remember the LA Rams and these guys and the 49ers at a time when the Rams were just basically pushovers. And that's why I have a Rams hat. I cheered for the Rams. They were my main team. Them and the Bengals in the late 80s. The Chargers were in there as well. The Rams, for me, fell out of favor in the 90s. And usually it's a quarterback problem that makes me, I'm done with this team. That's what did it for me with the Seahawks. People who wonder, like, you live near Seattle, why don't you cheer for the Seahawks? 2 words, Rick Meyer. And they wasted Cortez Kennedy, and I never forgave them for wasting the career of Cortez Kennedy. One of the greatest defensive linemen in history, and they just wasted in Seattle. Because you got to have guys like Meyer out there. Okay, so I've taken the Rams. Now the Bengals are 4-2. They're in against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are averaging 306.5 yards through the air per game. At home against the Bengals are 4-2. I will take the Chiefs. I like the Bengals a lot. Everybody knows I cheer for the Bengals. I got a wonderful Bengals hat that's kind of similar to this one. Same style, just in Bengals form. And I will take the Chiefs in this one. It's a just barely, but for me, I'm going to go with that based on the fact that the Chiefs have that lethal attack through the air and they're at home. Now, the Monday stinker, the Stinkfest. The Giants are 1-5. They don't have any category. They're top 6 in. The Falcons are 2-4. They're actually averaging 311 yards per game through the air. I will give the Falcons the edge in this one. And I know I get accused of hating on the Giants, but I have yet to be completely wrong on the Giants. They're 1-5, and it's not there. Your bye weeks belong to the Raiders, Steelers, Seahawks, and Packers. 14 games this week. And we are definitely to the point where some teams are already looking to next year and saying, well, we haven't made it this year. We're already done. We're cooked. And there are some teams who are already saying, all right, we're going to go in the playoffs, and here's how we're going to do things. And it's going to be an interesting season from here. Let me know your picks, as always, in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.